Thank you for joining us for 2 News at 7. I'm Kristen McPeek. Tonight we're continuing to follow developing news out of Boise, Idaho. This is the first batch of gates to open up this morning. The first flight this morning left here. It went to Atlanta. Is so nice right now compared to earlier. I feel like the snow is fluffier because earlier it was sideways and like the whole side of my body just had ice and snow, and then the other side was completely fine. Where are they going to put this snow? We'll take a look here at this giant snow pile in a parking lot. I mean, we've been seeing it all morning. Weaver County says that they are providing sandbags for community members here. They're definitely using them. We saw them up the way.
With triple-digit heat, doctors say it's important to take care of your health to avoid a trip to the hospital.
Yeah, this right here is one of the key tools in staying healthy during the heat across 17th South. So there are road closures in the area. Crews out here have really expressed their gratitude to the people who have come out here to help. And it sounds like the driver who was driving the wrong way, she was taken to the hospital. The victim was the one going northbound the correct way, right?
That is correct.
The application, it takes less than 5 minutes to complete. It asks borrowers for their name, birthday, social security number, and a few questions about their income.
It's something you've heard a lot over the years. Don't start that car to warm up and then leave it unattended.
Well, you won't believe what our Kristen McPeek found when she rode along with Salt Lake City Police to look for just that.
The sun rises on a cold Tuesday morning in Salt Lake City.
And I'm coming from Sugar House Park, so hopefully traffic's not that bad to get over there.
Police are out as people warm up their engine.
1319 East Ramona.
But they aren't making any arrests.
Just raising awareness.
It's during these times thieves are waiting for the perfect moment to take cars.
The key's in it.
We drove around the neighborhood for about an hour. Nearly 40 unattended cars were sitting, running, all within a mile's radius.
Got a team of officers just driving around, making sure that those that are warming their cars up are, making sure that they're keeping a good eye on them. We don't want you to be left out finding another way to get to work or getting your kids to school.
It was a pleasant surprise. Awareness is good, and I appreciate Salt Lake City Police helping out and letting us know.
Some people say they have a remote start.
All you need is really the fob.
But there are people out there who are sophisticated enough to clone keyless fobs. Over 30 cars have been stolen in Salt Lake City in the past month. Over 20 of those had keys inside.
Crime has no boundaries, and criminals know that, and that's why we're out here, is to try to help mitigate those things.
It can happen anywhere.
2 East Garfield Avenue on 1.
To anyone. Bottom line, police say to never leave your car unattended while you warm it up.
It's kind of tough to go from a warm house to a cold car, but if it means a couple minutes in a cold car to get to where you need to be versus a 30-minute walk after your car gets stolen, I think it's pretty safe to say what decision you should probably make.
In Salt Lake City, Kristen McPeek, KUTV 2 News.
Police say that stolen cars are typically used in other crimes as well. Car thefts are also often associated with other types of thefts.
But these properties have been for years detrimental and in egregious violation of our codes, our safety codes.
Salt Lake City taking action tonight after a row of abandoned homes has caused numerous problems for a neighborhood, including catching on fire multiple times.
Now, the mayor says the homes will be demolished by the city if the owners don't do it themselves within the next 10 days. Kristen McPeek has been investigating abandoned buildings and these nuisances that they cause for several months now.
Tonight, she shows us what the city's doing and how they're asking for your help.
Just kind of riffraff.
Dan Dalton runs a business across the street from these boarded homes.
It brings a lot of that type of activity to the area.
The kind of activity that neighbors in the ballpark district don't like to see.
A boarded building does attract a nuisance element.
Craig Weinheimer works with a team that keeps an eye on boarded buildings across the city.
As a legal investigator, I'm involved with many of the high-profile cases in our office, and some of the boarded buildings rise to that occasion.
He says this particular row of buildings is one that gets a lot of attention. Caution tape torn down, basement windows buried. In fact, as we looked at the property, people were trespassing during our interview.
As we're standing here, there are unauthorized persons walking the property. If someone trespasses onto a boarded building, they could get themselves into danger.
Records as of November 27th show that there has been 35 fires in vacant buildings in Salt Lake City limits within the past year. Our crews captured this one back in a downtown building on 3rd South. This happened in September. Now the building, still vacant today, sits with a charred hole in the roof. The city does do routine check-ins with some of the properties, but they also rely on neighbors to report anything they see.
It seems like our hands are kind of tied. All we can do is kind of be the watch guards and report what we can report. But at the end of the day, since we don't own it, we don't have any control over it.
The city has a mobile app, and it allows people here to report any issues in the area right at your fingertips. This is something that the city says is one efficient way to help prevent issues.
The city would prefer that the property owner take care of boarding and securing of a building on their own, but if a complaint comes in from the neighborhood that the property is not being maintained, then the city is empowered to step in.
And as the colder months set in, this is something that is on the minds of neighbors and the city.
The weather does seem to be a driving factor.
Kristen McPeek with KUTV 2 News.
So when it comes to the houses on Major Street, the city says all 4 properties are owned by the same person. Now, if that person doesn't tear the homes down within the next 10 days, the city is going to do it, but they will send the property owner the bill.